British lad reacts to 6 household objects that only are used in America. This one is going to be interesting because I'm trying to think what you guys... In fact, off the bat, what do I think you guys might use that I don't use here in England? I know it's super hot, so maybe you guys have, like, air conditioning. Is that an object? You probably have stuff like bug... Like, don't you get, like, huge bugs or, like, mosquitoes? So probably, like, mosquito nets that we don't use. Alarms. We don't have alarms in our houses. If you do, you're rich, because you could break into gaffs over here and you won't know a thing. You'll wake up the next day and your TV's gone. Let's just get straight into it.
And I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to objects and stuff. Specifically, objects and stuff that you find around the house that I only encountered after moving to the United States.
Let's go.
In previous videos, I gave you a tour of my first American house, as well as an exclusive look at my dusty garage. And so, if you want to join me on this journey of putting together this place and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, do that now. In the meantime, come with me as we look at 6...
Quick one, guys. Subscribe to this channel. Do it now. I'm watching. Have you done it? You done it? Let's go.
Housing objects that I only encountered after moving to the United States. It's locked again. 2 words, public toilets. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, what have public toilets got to do with houses? And the answer is simple. Nothing. But they do very neatly lead me into my next point, so shut it. Because you've probably heard Brits like me moaning about the lack of privacy in American public toilets, because you've got that gap and everything. Well, when it comes to our respective houses, that dedication to privacy, or privacy, depending on how you say it, is reversed. What? How? Do British rooms have gaps in the door? No, I'm not talking about gaps, I'm talking about locks on the door. Furthermore, I'm not just talking about bathrooms, but several rooms in the house. In America, many rooms, and in particular bedrooms, will have a lock on the doorknob that looks a little bit like this. Growing up in Britain, I found these to be far less common, which is a shame because they just give you that peace of mind that somebody's not going to walk in on you while you're reading a book. And for lock completists, they might sometimes take the form of a button, but there might also be some sort of rotating lock mechanism that looks like this.
Yeah. So
to recap, while Americans might not value public toilet privacy, the opposite is true with bedrooms.
What? So wait a minute. You guys have got it good right there. I've always, as a kid, for some reason, don't know why, but I'd put my own lock on my door. I don't know why it was more genuinely for what I touched on earlier. You don't have alarms. I always had this weird feeling that I would wake up one night and somebody would just be in my room. And I hated that feeling. I've still got it now, to be honest. But yeah, so I put a lock on my own bedroom door as a kid, literally like a 9-year-old. Didn't put it on as a sophisticated carpenter would. You know, getting a drill and putting raw plugs in and blah blah. I got nails and just hammered it in. It worked, but I mean, it would have been easily breakable, but at least I would have heard it. What he's saying about you guys don't use it on public toilets. Why? What's he on about there? You don't have locks on public toilets. That's an accident waiting to happen. That's a court case waiting to happen.
Sometimes Britain and America seem like alternate versions of each other, and perhaps one of the finest examples of this can be found in the delivery of post, except Americans don't call it post, they call it mail. And while us Brits like to distinguish between a mailbox on the street, in other words a post box, and a residential mailbox, aka a letterbox in your door, us Americans call this a mailbox and this a mailbox. It's all a bit confusing. Thankfully, in this video, I'm just talking about this. To Americans, this low-shaped contraption has just simply been a way of life since the day they were born. Perhaps some Americans don't even give them a second thought. But to people like me who grew up in a different country with different mailboxes, there's a certain charm to them. After all, the only time that we get to see these outside of living here is in the movies. Oh look, here's Kiefer Sutherland playing mailbox baseball in Stand By Me. Here's Forrest Gump and the kid from The Sixth Sense framed by a gorgeous line of mailboxes while the kid is too busy looking at Bubba, Jenny and Forrest's mum in the distance. Here's a mailbox playing a key role in a Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock film that sadly isn't Speed but a film you don't remember called The Lake House. And here's a pair of wayward vandals graffitiing a mailbox in Up. It's been a while since I've seen that film, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here. The point is, American movies have this uncanny knack of making things seem almost magic, even things as simple as this. And as somebody who, for the past 14 years, has only lived in rented American accommodation, I'd been used to picking up my mail from what was essentially a glorified high school locker. This represents my first proper American mailbox, and I feel like I've finally arrived.
Yeah, because it's different when it's if you're in a dorm. You know, or you're in a flat, you're obviously not going to have a mailbox. You're going to have those small locker things, which I'm assuming you guys have as well. In fact, you do, because I watch Friends, and that's where they get the mail from. But I think I know why you guys might do that. And even if you guys don't know, here's my theory on it. There's a few reasons. One, access. The mailman, for him to walk down the front yard of everyone's house, it takes ages. I don't want to have to do that. I just want to be at the end of your garden and post it. There's one. In fact, I'm probably sure that is the only reason. However, there does come a second reason which follows it up, and it's just good in general. Safety. Because in England, you can come straight up to the house and it's a post box. So one, you're on my land. You're on my property. I don't know who you are. I do, because you've got a red mail, Royal Mail outfit on. So I know you're the mailman. However, you're just having access to post anything through my letterbox. And there is multiple occasions here in England where they put petrol bombs through, you know, these people. They go to prison or whatnot, but sometimes they don't get caught. You just go up to someone's house and you post something through the mailbox. I'm not a mailbox lover, and again, if I had a house, I don't have a flat. If I had a house, I would take my mailbox, and I would, or a post box we call it, and I would block it up, because I don't want anybody just walking up to my house and posting through stuff in it. Whereas if it's at the end of my front garden, I'm not bothered. If you want to stick a dog's turd in there, then yeah, you're a psycho, but at least it's not in me house now. Do you know what I mean? So you guys have got it right. I agree with the way you guys are doing that.
In the past, I've told you about how during the summertime it's useful on American houses to have a bug shield. That way you can open your windows, or in this case, your door. And in theory, this makes it harder for bees and mosquitoes and all of the other insects to get into your house.
I knew this
Doesn't
would be
seem to
on there.
work, but the theory's good. But one thing I haven't spoken about is winter time, because when the temperatures plummet to minus 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, there aren't really many bugs trying to get in anyway. Instead, you have to protect your door from the elements. And that's where the storm door comes in. Sorry, I don't have much room here. Can I switch places? The storm door, where you can see this light is reflecting onto, is a door that sort of sits outside of the main door, and it sort of serves two purposes. Firstly, it's another barrier for burglars to have to overcome. And secondly, when you've got frost and snow and rain, it sort of protects this door from getting ruined by those weather elements. And in addition to storm doors, you also have storm windows, which sort of do the same thing for windows that this does for the doors. And that's really it, because we don't have storms quite of the severity that you might experience here in the Midwest. Storm doors and storm windows aren't really that common in Britain, hence why they made it onto this list.
I always wondered why you guys had that, but in my head, it was the first reason, just security. Like, you can open up the front door and you can have a conversation with whoever's there and go, "What's up? What do you need?" Which makes plenty of sense, because over here in England, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure the word for it is a Judas. I literally don't know if that's the correct term, but it's a little small peephole. I'm pretty sure I got the correct word, but I don't know. But having a conversation through that is, it's not that great, is it? So, or even worse, when you have to put the lock on the door and then you open it up and it's like that much and you're like, hello bruh, what's up? So storm doors, again, good invention. We need them over here.
Hello, what's this? A fan outside of my house? Might have to put in a restraining order. Seriously, I did have to do that 3 years ago, so keep your distance. In previous videos, you've heard me talk to death about how American homes have air conditioning and British homes just don't. And so I don't want to dwell too much on what happens with air conditioning inside the house, but rather outside. Because you see, for the first time since I moved to the United States, the air conditioning in my home is entirely central air. In other words, the aircon is built entirely into the house instead of me having to install window units, which is great. And because of that, we have this thing, which I haven't really learned the name of. Perhaps it's a generator of some kind. Anyway, what it does is it sits outside, the fans spin around, and it creates air connage. And the outsides of many houses will feature one of these throughout the United States. I have heard that it requires a little bit of maintenance and cleaning, so after this video goes out, I will be reading all about that with a hot bath.
That is genius.
And so we go from fans outside my house to fans above my bed. Seriously, don't get any ideas. I am married. But in much of the United States, just as with air conditioning, ceiling fans are found in most houses. Now, for the past 15 years, in a variety of rented American apartment complexes, I've always had ceiling fans that had a chain that you pulled to get the fan going.
Dangerous.
But now, with the acquisition of my first American house, things work a little bit differently. It's doing it. That was a trick. I was actually using a remote control. Still cool though, isn't it? Literally. I've just realised it's winter and this should not be on.
Mate, again, I'm fully with that. I think we should have them here in England. You don't really need them because it's quite cold majority of the year. But in the summer, I cannot sleep without the fan on. I have the fan on continuously because, again, we don't have aircon. We have aircon in the cars. You can purchase aircon. At work, I have an aircon machine. However, in the house, if you want aircon, have you got that amount of money to buy one? Nah, no one's got it. So you do have to have a fan. Sleeping with a fan on, though, is apparently meant to give you, like, you know, it's bad for your throat and etc. I don't know. It gives you dry throat, can cause stuff. I don't know. But I do know this. I would like a fan above my bed in the summer because it gets ridiculous cage.
In my last video when I showed you around my garage and we found this spare gate hanging around in the rafters, well, it turns out this isn't a spare gate, but a missing one. Since I announced that I'd become a United States citizen and bought my first American house, some of you sent me messages along the lines of, "Oh, well done, Lawrence, you are living the American dream." But last time I checked, the perfect picture of the American dream involved having a white picket fence. And I don't have any data to back this up, it's just all from observation. But it feels like, at least here in the Midwest, that there are far fewer white picket fences and a great deal more chain link. Some Americans that I've spoken to seem to be of the opinion that chain link fences are kind of ugly. And I sort of agree, but if I put together a large enough collection of these fence pieces, I might be able to construct my own Hell in a Cell in the back garden, so that'd be fun. Anyway, we don't really use this style of fence much around British gardens, and from memory, this is the first chain link fence that I've had since moving to the United States. That's it for this episode. If you haven't had...
I can only assume that the chain link fences are all due to just financial reasons, and they're easier to make, cheaper to make. I bet if you go into the more rural areas, the fences are them white picket fences that you mentioned. But if you're going to make a mass amount of fences, especially in the cities, you're not going to have white picket fences because it's too expensive, and they would break, and it was, if anything, you have to stay on top of one of those fences, because if you don't paint it, it will start to look run down. Whereas at least with the metal, nothing's gonna happen to it. You know, it's gonna stay the same. It can age. It ages well. Doesn't look great from the beginning, but it ages well. That was a good video. Guys, if there's anything that you want me to react to, then let me know in the comments below. I love reacting to these kind of videos, what you guys do. I'm just interested in America, and that's why this channel is based on it. We love American food. We want to go over to America. We want to try it. We want to live the American dream. We want to go on a road trip. We want to go to Nashville and play. We're in a band, Raygo Bloom. We want to play music in those bars, what you see. You know, I want to be in New York, have a slice of pizza, play music in a bar, just do all that cool stuff that you see on the films. It just looks cool. I got a question. Do you guys think the same to England? Oh, I really want to go to London. I want to go to the London Eye. I want to see where the king lives. Do you guys say stuff like that? I wonder if you guys say that as much as we say it about America. But yeah, guys, if you like this video, like it, share it, and subscribe. And guess what? Like I say, I'm in a band called Raygo Bloom. Go and check our music out. I'll leave a song pinned in the comments below. Until next time, peace out!